Today, we're following the money. When the war in Ukraine kicked off in February 2022, it didn't just cause a geopolitical crisis, it completely turned the global economy upside down. So let's break down exactly who lost billions and who made billions. It's a really good question, right? Because money never really vanishes. It just moves. You can think of any huge global event as creating these giant financial vacuums in one place and massive windfalls in another. Our job today is to trace exactly where it all went. You see, the invasion wasn't just a political event, it was a full-blown economic earthquake. The moment it happened, it sent shockwaves through pretty much every market on the globe, completely reshuffling the rules of the game for international business overnight. So let's start with one side of the coin, the companies and markets that took an immediate, and honestly, a staggering financial hit. For a whole lot of them, the decision to get out of Russia came with an absolutely eye-watering price tag. And how many are we talking about? Roughly 1,300. That's about how many international companies, in a ridiculously short amount of time, either packed their bags and left Russia entirely or seriously scaled back what they were doing there. We are talking about a corporate stampede for the exits on a scale we've just never really seen before. And what did that stampede cost? Well, get ready for this number, more than $170 billion. That's the estimated grand total from things like writing off assets and just straight up lost revenue. It's a colossal figure, basically the financial penalty for walking away. Okay, but here's where it gets even more specific. If you drill down into that massive number, you find that European companies shouldered at least 100 billion euros of those losses all by themselves. It makes sense, right? Their closer proximity and deeper economic ties meant they felt the pain the most. Now, of course, it wasn't just a one-way street. The Russian market itself got absolutely hammered. Sanctions and being cut off from global finance took a huge toll. I mean, you had giants like Sberbank, one of their biggest banks, watch its stock value just plummet by over 50% as it got kicked out of European markets. I know these huge numbers can feel a bit abstract, so let's bring it down to earth with names you definitely know. McDonald's took a hit of up to $1.4 billion just from selling off its restaurants. And you see other huge brands like Starbucks and Ford losing tens of millions. These weren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. This was real, painful financial damage. So you see this picture emerging, right? A clear line in the sand? On one side, you have these historic financial penalties. But on the other side of that line, the very same disruption was creating what you could call once-in-a-generation opportunities. So let's flip the script and look at that other side. All right, now for the sectors that didn't just survive the earthquake, they rode the shockwave. For them, all this global instability and chaos wasn't a problem. It was a massive profit-making opportunity. And who was first in line? Well, no surprise here, big oil. The moment the global energy map got scrambled and prices went through the roof, these 5 companies, the absolute titans of the industry, found themselves in a very, very profitable spot. Just how profitable are we talking? Well, their collective profits shot into the hundreds of billions of dollars. That massive spike in energy prices created an absolute gusher of cash for the whole sector. The second big winner, and again, this is probably not going to shock you, was the defense industry. The logic here is pretty straightforward, right? As soon as the conflict began, nations everywhere scrambled to beef up their military spending and send aid, which meant the demand for weapons, ammo, and defense tech just exploded. And you don't even need me to explain the result. This chart just screams it. Take a look at the general market. Kind of flat, bouncing around. Now look at the stock for a big European defense company like Rheinmetall. It's not a line, it's a rocket ship. The performance gap is just staggering. And this wasn't just a one-hit wonder. It was an industry-wide boom. You saw it all across Europe with firms like Rheinmetall, BAE Systems, and Saab. And you definitely saw it in the US with the heavy hitters, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon. All of them saw their market values just surge thanks to a flood of new orders. But wait, there was a third winner, and it actually ties back to that energy story. With Europe desperately trying to get off Russian gas, companies that specialize in liquefied natural gas, or LNG, became unbelievably important. Think about it, players like Cheniere Energy, who operate the terminals where the stuff comes in, well, they suddenly became an absolutely critical link in the world's new energy supply chain. So let's pull back for a second. What's the big picture here? In just a few months, the tectonic plates of the global economy literally shifted. A whole new financial map was drawn. And on this map, the winners and losers are crystal clear. So let's just boil it all down. Takeaway number one, the losses. Western companies with a big footprint in Russia and the Russian market itself got slammed. We're talking historic devaluations. Takeaway number two, the gains. The energy and defense industries thrived on the chaos, cashing in with record-breaking profits and growth. It's that start. And all of this leaves us with one final really important question. We've just seen how fast the global economy can be rewired. So as we look at this new financial map, you have to wonder, is this the new normal? Which of these massive, dramatic changes are actually here to stay?